today is kind of D-Day. We're currently on the junkyard farm. That's what we're gonna call it. Hoping to turn it into a boneyard though. I am lucky, honored, ecstatic, nervous, blessed, and every other word to have the Ben Rising be willing to join me on this journey. And so today we're gonna let Ben be the teacher, the professor, the foreman, just the guru, and tell us what's gonna happen here. We're gonna start putting together kind of a plan here on what this farm could look like. And I'm gonna let Ben run the show.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. This is a farm that, like Tyler said, called the junkyard, but it's really, we're calling it the Ross County 80, but refer to it as the junkyard, the future boneyard. It's in big hill country of Ross County. A lot of ag off in the distance. So just my initial thoughts is a lot of these bigger mature deer probably won't start coming into this farm till after the crops start coming off. That's what I experience a lot in hill country. They're down in the bottoms where the beans and the alfalfa and the hay and all that is right now, in the creeks and, you know, cornfields. Once all that stuff starts ripening and, you know, they start getting ag taken off, these hills fill up.
Push in.
And so farms like this can really fool people sometimes. They think in the summer, because they're not getting good velvet picks or whatever, because there's no ag on this farm. It's all solid timber and brush and some ponds, but we can put food plots in here, no problem. We'll give them a food source, but I still don't expect that food source to keep them here in the summer. So that's okay, because I've got farms that I just know the bucks will not show up till late September, early October, and when they do, they're there for the rest of the year, and I'm good with that. Yep. So I'm guessing that's probably what we're going to run into here, but our goal today is to just we want to get this thing set up so when we turn this farm over to be sold to somebody like yourself that's really looking for a good piece, we can specifically tell you why it's so good and what to expect.
I'm excited. Today is going to be good. We've got kind of an open canvas here. This farm already, it feels bucky. I mean, this farm, when I walked it originally, it felt super bucky, and I'm just excited to have Ben kind of give us a playbook of what we could do here. We're going to be bringing equipment in already to do some of the cleanup on this farm, but with that equipment, we're going to be able to provide, you know, some turnkey aspects to this property by installing food sources, getting some blinds, and stand locations prepped. And honestly, timing couldn't even be better because we're almost to July now. So if we start rolling this out, you know, we're going to make it in time to have fall food sources teed up and ready. So it's going to be good. We're just going to keep walking around. I'm going to kind of let Ben get a feel for what this thing looks like, and then we'll start putting the plan together.
This is not a bad spot to actually have a stand.
It isn't. It's a good little
because the way this little saddle kind of goes from one to the other, and then this goes down into this valley. I mean, this was one of the spots that I had teed up on my deer cast maps that I thought this could be a really good spot looking at the topo. So, you know, for sure, this is something that, like, those stands would come out, but absolutely I would have a Novix in that stand, or even this would be a really good spot for a redneck, hard redneck right here.
So I'm going to give Ben my initial thought here and then let him debunk it. But when I walked up on this knob, I thought, yes, if you could get a blind here and get a way to get in it, I thought if you could keep your food source on this side, you could have this kind of sneak in, sneak out thing here. There's a second pond on this farm right behind it. So I just kind of thought if you kept that way, you could come up this way, put your food source.
Get the deer bedded back here, and draw them to this, man, you're coming right in on them, and they're never even know you're here. Now you're going to get some deer bedded above the ponds, but there is 2 accesses around this pond, so it's going to depend on what the wind's doing.
All right, you lead the way. I'm up for whatever.
Even there already is more deer sign right here than anywhere so far. And it's, you know, classic sign. We're running into more deer, less people. It's just the way it is. You see wherever you get this grass, they like to lay down in that stuff. So it's just like, it's really important to have those kind of diverse bedding spots. That's why I was saying, like, you could open that ridge up out there and just let it come back to grass. Plant it to grass. Give them something different to lay in. It then creates a hotel room for does to lay and bucks to check. So for me, like, looking at this initially, how I would set this up is, because these deer are going to be bedded But this little bowl right here could definitely be turned into a nice food source. Green fall plot. You could bottleneck it right here. And you could do like an hourglass shape. You've got some bigger trees here. So you can get cleared back to there. Or you could have another, like a redneck here. Pinch these deer down. Get your access right. But, I mean, you've got some definitely potential to have a good size, probably the biggest food source on this whole piece right here. This farm's going to be really incredible at some point. It will hold giants, there's no doubt. And this is the right county.